We are preparing to go live, everybody. One moment, please.
Numero.
Preparing to go live, everybody. One moment, please.
Is there echo?
So, I think you can't really start a good episode unless there's an echo associated with it.
Echo.
Echo 19er. This is Bravo 2 49er.
And the Navy just crashed.
Yeah. And they crashed right into the wrong thing. Echo, you to do a circle. Get that hole around the bulk yard, okay? None of that makes any sense.
Where we at? Facebook Live?
We are everywhere with episode 40 of the Almost Daily Show. The Big 4-0. This is pretty crazy.
It is pretty crazy. We're here with my co-host Chandler Walker. And
that's me.
Dave Picardi.
You can find all of our amazing content all over the place on the internet because we appreciate building a relationship with people. And people are awesome. Yeah, and whoever, basically whoever will hang out with us, we're going to hang out with. And
really, that's all it comes down to for us. Pretty simple.
And 100% of the time, you're going to like us, whether you like it or not.
Absolutely. So let's talk. This is actually an important one. Our world out of the cave media is lit up like the Matrix. And how come, Chan?
Well, so we had a question the other day. Someone asked me, what do you do? We notice what you do is really different. And a lot of the things we do are actually teaching other marketing organizations how to do. Because when we release the information we talk about and when we do our presentations, people are always blown away by the concepts. And that's because the concepts are essentially ahead of their time. 5, 6, 7 years from now, a lot of people will be doing it. But right now, we are the stewards to driving this forward into this industry. I had a conversation this morning with somebody who we were talking, and his exact comment was, wow, nobody's doing that. I don't know anybody who's doing that kind of stuff.
Right, exactly. So, we do a lot, you and I both, local biz development stuff in our areas. I'm East Coast, you're West Coast. But yeah, building the relationship in a business is the business, and so, yeah, that's why I think what we have is so special. I think we should outline, talk about what exactly is this special thing that we do.
Yeah, and when you get a question about it, you have to answer the question, and we love to answer questions. So basically what we do is we go into businesses and we define and we outline and we build an understanding of what the culture is, what the critical personalities are in the business, how we can leverage those personalities, what the strengths are of each person and if it's a big organization, each department in the organization, or if it's a smaller, what the strength of each person is. And then we take the culture, the identity, and we create essentially a brand that speaks to the consumer in a way that humans actually speak, and we build a humanistic brand, which is exciting.
When we get into brands, I actually have one of my good friends owns it's a fertilizer business. And we talked, we had a big talk yesterday about it. So the explanation that he wanted, I guess his idea that he wanted was, he's like, look, we're so much more than a fertilizer company. We have this amazing story and how it all happens and where it comes from. And that was where I was going. That's relationship marketing stuff. It's what we do, and so we actually come into the business and we take your brand, which, old school is you advertise your brand, and everybody comes to you. Now you actually have to take your brand. What is the culture behind your brand? What is the story behind your culture? And then Chandler and I flush that out. We have a whole process that we do with the owner first, then with the teams, all the way down through the employees and everybody. You could have down to the loading dock if that's your business. And we want to know, what is everybody's story? What is their specialty? What do they bring to the table? What is their part in the special process that you do? And then how do we then take that and create a story that we can then put to a content schedule, teach you what you need to do to accomplish it, and then in turn work with us and we help push it out and get it where it needs to go, and get everybody knowing who you are and what your story is, so that they are a part of your story.
Yeah, exactly. So we take businesses and we teach them how to be what you would call customer-centric or customer-driven focusing on a relationship marketing style or relationship focused business pathway. And what that is it's essentially building a culture of caring around your entire business and your entire model and your strategy. So when you put out information, someone listens to it, someone gives you feedback, you adapt it, you modify it, you allow it to evolve based off feedback you get. And then when people start really paying attention to what you put out, because everything's based off of your brand, your culture, your personality, and making people feel part of your story, like you're saying. And when we actually do that with people, the people who start paying attention to it and listen to it come in and they already say like, hey, I've been following you guys. I really like
Right. And nothing really beats it. I mean, it is the long-term game. If you're in business, you know, business is a long-term game. So you do business strategies and you expect them to take some time. So it's the same thing with what we do. We go and we lay the foundation. We have a step-by-step process. You know, A plus B plus C equals the win. You know, and you can't go right to ads and trying to just drive traffic before you set up a proper base and foundation. And a lot of businesses, they try it that way. Maybe there's instant success, but they don't have long-term traction. And it's just because you have to do the groundwork. You have to do it right. And then add all the feedback about it, and then ultimately 12 to 18 months from now, your business is going to be in a position where you are the banana in a group of bananas. I want to be the banana. How do I do that? Well, so it turns out what you have to do is take a banana and peel it. Here we go. So when we want to know what's inside the banana, right? We want to know, what are we getting here? You know, I'll take that. That's right. So then it comes down to like, how do we actually deliver this? So we're a marketing agency and media agency, so we can do what everybody else does, and we have big departments for that. And that's the easy stuff, right? The thing we do that's special is we come in and we do this big process up front. So that's really the first step is you bring someone in. You need a strategist. You need someone to actually figure out what you have, what's special, who can deliver what, put it all together, assign it out, and create a solid blueprint for how you're actually going to get yourself to market and get people actually paying attention to you. So that's our specialty. That's what we do when we come in. Then long term, if you want to work with us, great. If you're like, my sister-in-law does it and I'll go with her, whatever, right? But we have a strategy in place for long term as well. We can take care of you, but really our specialty is we come in and we do this real special process, and we really change things around for your business. Yeah, that's huge. And what you see is like Facebook marketing experts and digital marketers and all these growth hackers are a dime a dozen. But what you really need to build a great business, growth hackers, it's so cool. Things to target your business. But what you really need is you need someone who's a strategist who understands how to look at things from a long-term perspective. Will tell you what that looks like and why sometimes the short-term gain isn't worth that long-term loss, and how we organize that thing. And Eli just had a good comment he posted on our Facebook Live. He said what makes it tough for him is what to say and when to say what. And he said thinking about it too much just paralyzes you from doing anything. And that's huge. And often we find that we think about it so much and we're so afraid of what could happen, we never do anything. And that's when it's a good situation to have a strategist like what we do come in and say,
here's what we're going to do. Here's what we need. Who are you? What are you doing? Why are you doing this? What is our goal? Where do we need to be and how do we want to get there? We organize a strategy and we essentially hold someone's hand as we move forward in that strategy. And it gives them like the peace of mind to say, I don't know what to do here. What do you guys think? And then you can give that feedback. You can make sure they're on the right path, because we get a lot of, especially in the small business realm, where people, they maybe see something like a competitor does and they want to immediately pivot shift and start focusing on whatever's happening over there. But by giving them the strategy and this, what we do in this long-term goals and making sure it's all organized in the right way with strategic planning, we pull them back in and say, hey, don't worry about that guy. You have you down. You have to.
They'll follow you. You won't follow in the market. That's for sure. So when you're looking at it that way, something else that happens all the time is we also go in and find out there's all sorts of processes that aren't actually streamlined and flowing correctly. And so part of your overall strategy is when you actually do make contact, then what? So not only do you have to go create an audience, get people into your story, you make contact, and then we have to work on the flow of what happens in that funnel. And where things go, and we don't want to drop the ball. How do we improve client experience? All of this revolves around your marketing efforts and your marketing team.
Yeah, and that's really the big difference between like a marketing person and an organization that actually builds your entire strategic planning process in conjunction with your marketing. Because if you have someone who understands processes, how processes should function, what to look for in processes that aren't optimal, you get the whole package. So you get the person who can organize your long-term strategy, your marketing goals, but at the same time say, hey, a lot of these things aren't really optimal. I've noticed things are falling off at this point. Let's look at this and let's adjust and reevaluate what you're doing here. And that's really what separates a high-level strategist from just a digital marketer or a Facebook marketing expert or those guys.
Well, we find that people that don't have the strategist in their corner will call the website company complaining about something, and then they'll call the nurture company about something different. They don't really know who to call or who's responsible for what. And ultimately, they need to be working with someone so they understand their big picture, and they understand, one business, a strategy might work, and Facebook might be the primary. In another business, it could be Instagram. In another business, it could be mailers, right? But you don't really know, and you need someone in your corner that can run the demographics, run the reports, know what's going on, what's working, what's not working, make the adjustments to content, to systems, to strategies. And you don't want to make them 6 months after it's too late. You want to make them as you're seeing the data unfold. And that's the difference between marketers and I think what we do, man, right?
Yeah, and that's huge. And so what you find is we come in with a relationship marketing experience, but essentially come in and provide business consulting as well, because we have to optimize strategies, give progress reports, help with funnels, help with client retention, and you end up being the one person that these guys can go to and have like a direction. So you're like the director of what they should do and how they should do it. Because when people open, in bigger brands, it's more of a department-based focus, but in small businesses, it's really, what do? I open this thing and I'm overwhelmed and I need someone to help guide me in the right direction. And they approach a marketing agency to do it who drives business, but doesn't help them optimize their strategy, doesn't help them with retention and how to keep people, doesn't do anything beyond just driving business in the door. And sometimes, and more often than not, if you drive a bunch of business in the door, it's going to hurt you on the back end because you can't provide the high level of service that you should to your clients and your customers.
Yeah, most medium to small businesses, they don't have the infrastructure in place. They missed the boat on it. Right. And then they're always worried about driving more revenue, and the owners or primaries in the business are usually overworking. So they're doing little bits of everything okay, and they're not able to actually dig in. Most business owners are smart enough that once they dig into a process, they get good at it, but they always then drop all their balls on the back end, right? And things fall apart on them, and they have to go back to that. So that's what we kind of help with. We organize the whole thing, whatever people need. If they need everything, we do everything. If they need just the relationship marketing experience up front, and then that's it, we do that.
Yeah, exactly. And the way the experience works is we come in, we talk with the owner and interview the process and get a real deep understanding of the business. And then once that's finished, we interview the entire team that's going to be involved with what we're doing. We define an outline of personalities, their strengths, their weaknesses, what the business means to them, and how they think the culture should be expressed from the business. And then once we get that down, we organize a specific strategy for everybody to follow. We meet again, we present that strategy, give everybody due dates, give everybody tasks, And then we meet again after that and make sure that they're all together. And then we organize it and set up an execution plan for it.
Which is my favorite. We love seeing the execution plan work.
No, it's incredible.
The stuff that comes out is amazing. We get distracted all day watching content.
I was watching one this morning, and it was like, we organized one guy. They said he's really good at telling client stories, and he always has a good story. And you don't necessarily have to give names out, but someone who can tell a story, you want that story to be displayed to everybody. So they have this story coming out, and it's super animated and super fun. It's already got like hundreds of views, and people like it, and it's getting like laughy faces and it's engagement. And that's the kind of stuff that makes you the banana. You're not just standing there like this, like super stiff, telling people information that they don't care about. You're getting people engaged and captivated with what you're doing, and then they want to consume it more often.
That's right. And something else, I'm pretty sure we're going to be talking to lots of people that are listening to this, so we'll get into it deep. But everybody has different ways that they communicate, different things that they're comfortable with, writing, videos, just talking, whatever it is. And that's part of what we do is we really need to identify people's strengths, and then we double down on those strengths. We make sure that we push them farther into what they're good at. And then that's what they're out working on. If they have dry personalities, maybe it's some dry humor stuff or whatever it is. If they're super animated, maybe we're super animated. So it's not something where it's like, because fear is a big part of this too. And this is what we see in a lot of businesses is people are afraid to do what they think might work. And it's usually because they're just not good at it. So we come in and we help you understand what you're good at, and we don't ever make anybody do things that they're not good at. It won't be good, right? Yeah. So that's part of our process as well, is putting you in a position to succeed long term.
Yeah, and that comes into one of my laws of marketing that I talk about pretty often. It's you have to leverage your strengths, and people are good at what people are good at. And I was just talking to another guy when I was on a podcast like an hour ago. We've been here all day doing podcasts, and I told him, he was saying, if someone makes me do something I'm not good at, I get frustrated and I get upset about it and I don't want to do it. And then I get aggressive. And that's how people are. If they're not good at it, you're crazy, Dave. With that. And that's what it comes down to. If people aren't good at something and you tell them to do it, they're going to do it. They're going to struggle with it, get frustrated, and they're not going to continue with it. So we need to understand that in order to be the most effective at what we do, we have to leverage what we're good at and focus on what we're good at, and let everybody else who's good at what we're not good at do that. And that's really how we become stronger and better, and how we define efficient processes and build our strategies.
That's right. So we're going to wrap this up. If you want to really get your brand identity and work through that process and come up with what the brand's culture is, and then identify the personalities within that culture and figure out how to take that and create stories to actually go out into the world to get people to like your brand and want to be a part of your culture and your story, let us know. That's what we do.
Yeah, we love to do it. And we love to give information out about it.
Right.
We should have a bunch of cool stuff, like an online school that should come out to teach these concepts to people who can't necessarily pick up the high-level services and all that. So be on the lookout. If you want more information on what we specifically do, just watch the show. Go to ootcmedia.com and you can read about it a little bit. And otherwise, if you're not ready, just keep listening to the show and actually do the stuff we talk about and crush it yourself. Either way, we want to see everyone succeed. One of our core values is helping businesses succeed and build a relationship with as many people as possible, so we ultimately have a global culture of caring.
I like that.
Yeah.
Big world leadership. That's good stuff, man.
Everybody cares. All right,
guys.
Good times.
Thanks. Tuning in to the Almost Daily Show, episode 40.
Yeah, today is Friday. We're super pumped because it's Friday, but we also love Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Thursdays. I actually don't like the weekends as much because I don't do all this stuff.
Yeah, we don't get to see everybody.
Yeah, but technically the weekends suck because we actually like what we do.
That's right.
So we might see you tomorrow. Maybe not. Maybe we'll see you Monday.
Maybe.
Because it's the Almost Daily Show.
Almost every day.
See ya.
Later, guys.